Hello everyone! Today we're going to be jumping into Standard with a Celestia Toxic deck. This deck is very aggressive, very good at pushing out early wins. Let's talk a little bit about some of the cards we're running here. We've got Crawling Chorus. This card protects itself from removal by replacing itself when it dies with a Might token. We have Skrelv to keep our creatures protected and also to add additional Toxic onto our attackers. Audacity is going to let us push through some additional damage with Trample. Rot Priest is going to protect us by removal by putting pressure on our opponents if they're looking to target our creatures with spells. We've got Tyvar's Stand. This pairs well with the Rot Priest and also keeps some of our important creatures alive and can add an additional damage buff for lethal if we have to win without Toxic. Jawbone Duelist with Double Strike is going to apply Toxic with each hit. This is going to be great for us paired with Skrelv, giving 4 poison counters. Skrelv's Hive is going to eventually give all of our toxic creatures lifelink, and it's going to continually give us a bigger board state, which is going to help us overwhelm our opponent with small threats. Slaughter Stinger is going to buff all those small creatures. It has Toxic 2, making it a fairly heavy hitter in the deck, and it's going to make trading a lot more difficult for our opponent. Annex Sentry is there for disruption. It's very hard to remove, and it has Toxic as well. And Bloated Contaminator with a 4/4 body for 3 mana is an excellent stat line with Toxic 1, Trample to make sure that damage is going through, and proliferating whenever we deal combat damage. Over in the mana base, important things to note, we have Aganjo. This is to help with blockers. We've got Boseiju in case we run into any artifact. And then we've got Seed Core. Once we have Corrupted, that additional +2/+1 can protect some of our small creatures and let us swing in for more damage each turn. And we also have 2 copies of Mirex to go ahead and make some more mites. Let's go take a look and see how this does. Alright, and here we are going into game 1. A little bit of a slow hand, but we're going to keep with the 2 Slaughter Stingers. We're gonna go ahead and start with the Seed Core. Don't want to play either of our channel lands until we have to, since they do have value as spells additionally. Alright. Opponent starts with a Forest. Passes the turn. We're gonna play out Boseiju as our land here. Play the first Slaughter Stinger. Pass the turn back. If our opponent plays a blocker, we have Annex Sentry next turn. If not, we have Bloated Contaminator. Alright, opponent plays a Rot Priest. We are going to deal with a Rot Priest right now. Let's see if our opponent has a spell to protect it. They do. That's fine. He can just block here, so no reason to swing out. Next turn, we've got a couple of different options. And of them, I think I like Bloated Contaminator the best. Let's go ahead and add green there. We're going to hold up 1 green mana for Tyvar's Stand. And now we'll move to combat. Swing out. This will be good. He won't be able to block both, even if he does block. He might buff the Rot Priest. We'll see. That's fine. Yep. Phased out. We get our first poison counter on our opponent. Having the Contaminator is going to be really good for us here. We've got a couple of options for next turn. Alright. Opponent plays Storm Chaser Drake. It's It's gonna give them some good card draw. Back to my turn. Alright. Let's go ahead and start with the Slaughter Singer. I'm gonna go ahead and tap this for a green mana. Tap that for white. Now we'll move to combat. Whole bunch of buffing going on here. We also have Tyvar's Stand that we can cast on 1 for additional damage if we want to. Alright, proliferate, yes please. Up at 6, let's go ahead and cast out the Duelist. Our opponent's not going to have a board wipe to deal with our board, so this is putting us in a really good spot. Additionally, our opponent's only at 7 life. So even if we can't get through all of the poison counters we need next turn, we should be able to manage lethal. Especially with Tyvar's Stand here, we can give +3/+3. I don't think our opponent's going to be able to attack. They choose to attack, though. Looking for another card. Right now, our opponent doesn't have enough blocks to be able to stop us. Alright, well, let's start by playing our land. Move to combat. Nope. Well, opponent's thinking. Okay, swing out. Again, even if they can stop the Toxic here, they shouldn't be able to stop all of this damage. Let's see what they do. Alright, blocking the Duelist. And that's gonna be a good game. Oh, maybe. There's not too much that they can do here. We can always just give the Bloated Contaminator hexproof and a +1, and that'll deal 7 damage, even if they're able to get rid of everything else. Yep. Let's go ahead and 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just make it super lethal. There we go. Good game. Alright, and here we go into the next game. This looks like a good starting hand. We'll go ahead and keep. Let's start out with a Skrelv. No need to take extra damage before we know what our opponent's on. Opponent plays a green land. I'm gonna play out Skrelv's Hive, getting that Skrelv synergy on the board, and get our first poison counter. Alright, playing into an enchantment deck. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Naturalist. And we're actually gonna hold Skrelv back this turn so we can protect Annex Sentry. If our opponent misses a land drop here, then this is gonna be even better for us. If not, we've got a couple of options for next turn. Nope, they do hit their land drop. It's a Generous Visitor. Alright. Give it a +1/+1 counter. Sure thing. Yep. That's totally fine. On to my turn. We do draw another land. Let's go ahead and start with Audacity here. And I will use Skrelv. We will not pay the white, though. We'll pay 2 life. Proc green. Move to combat. We'll be giving our opponent 3 poison counters. Up at 4. Then let's play out the Bloated Contaminator. This is looking good so far. Next turn, it looks like we've got a whole bunch of damage on our opponent. Yep, there's another +1/+1 counter for the visitor. They'll most likely get rid of the Annex Sentry. That would make the most sense. We'll draw a card off of Audacity when that happens. Yep. Draw a card. Bloated Contaminator is a good card to draw as well. Notably, Generous Visitor is not going to be a 4/4 when we swing in with Bloated Contaminator. That's going to be really good for us. We'll also get another 2 poison counters if we tap Skrelv. Yep, there's another Might for us. Alright, let's just move straight to combat. I'm actually gonna leave Skrelv back, and we're going to just make sure that we get our damage through. I'll pay the 2 life again. I'm not too concerned about my life. Protection from green. We'll see if they block the Bloated Contaminator. Either way, our opponent's gonna be up at 6. They also can't block the Might and kill the Contaminator, so there's a whole bunch of different choices here. We have Iganjo to deal with double blocks if they double block the Contaminator. We're in a really good spot here. Sure. Alright, and that's it. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Visitor. Perfect. Proliferate up to 8. Let's play out the Crawling Chorus. Now, regardless of what happens, as long as we have Skrelv, we should be in a really good spot. Pro-white is gonna let us get through with one of our creatures next turn. If our opponent plays a green creature, that might be a problem. Sure, borrowed time. I mean, they have to hit the Skrelv here. Makes the most sense. Right, but they only have 2 blockers. And I'm gonna have way more than 2 creatures attacking. Thinking for 1 mana, there's not gonna be a way out of this. And we got it, alright. Okay, and here we are in the next game. On the play, we're gonna go ahead and keep. The goal is gonna be to start with Skrelv here. Let's go Seed Core Skrelv. Play the Seed Core so we don't take a damage off the Brushland. Next turn, I think we're going to play Mirex in both of the choruses, unless we draw something better. Our opponent plays a Seed Core as well. Let's see. Maybe they have a turn 1 play too. They do. Start with a Crawling Chorus. Alright, well, let's Mirex. Play some more choruses. Playing into the mirror matchup. No attacks, we're gonna leave Skrelv up. I think we were off to a better start than they were. That's for sure. Annex Sentry is gonna be great for us next turn. Let's see, Slaughter Singer? No, Jawbone Duelist. Alright. Yep, feel good about this. Let's go ahead and Annex Sentry. Now, we do want to get some damage through, and we don't really care about our life too much, so let's go give Proc White, and we'll swing out. This is going to give us... Okay, no blocks. Even better, we now have Corrupted. Right? Annex Sentry gonna hit the Annex Sentry. It's gonna be very funny if we get that back. Alright. Let's see. What do I want to do here? I think we're gonna do the same thing as before. Unless... See, this is gonna cost 2 because Skrelv, so we can in fact pay the 1 white. Pay 1 white. Wait, nope. Sorry, let's go ahead and pay the 2 life for that. Pro white. Now we'll move to combat. Can't tap the Seed Core for white for a Ganjo. If we're fortunate, they'll block with the Annex Entry. Now they block with the Duelist. That's fine. We're just gonna trade. No need to do anything fancy there. We'll get another 2 poison counters. You get the replacement might. And let's just put Audacity on the Crawling Chorus, just for fun. We'll see, as soon as they block with the Annex Sentry, we'll be able to deal with their board very cleanly. Alright, well, here's Skrelv's Hive. Let's go ahead and get some lifelink. Alright. We'll pay 2 life. Give him protection from green. Move to combat. Alright. No trades, but we are going to get another card here. And gain some life back. Right, yep. Can't block. Opponent plays another Contaminator. Let's play out a Thicket. I think we're gonna actually save, Oop. We do have to pay with life again. Go green. We're gonna wait here. When they swing in, we'll get our Annex Sentry back. Getting our Annex Sentry back is also gonna let us take a Contaminator. Alright, yep. Easy. They have protection, they'll have the game. They do, alright. Alright, we're gonna keep this, even though we don't have any green mana for the Rat Priest. This is still a strong early start. Get the Crawling Chorus out so we can start dealing some damage. Right now, our priority is to get those first 3 poison counters. Let's see what our opponent has. Okay, there's the Swift Spear. If they attack, we won't block. Alright, well, our opponent's already playing back. Let's go ahead and play out our first Skrelv's Hive. No attacks. It might seem bad playing the Skrelv's Hive into a red deck, and that additional damage is going to be bad for us. However, we do have the advantage of getting lifelink off this. Okay, our opponent does swing in, so we are going to be able to start getting poison counters next turn. Alright, here's Seed Core. Let's play Contaminator. This is going to be good. Contaminator is going to function as a strong blocker for us, and next turn, we're going to be able to activate our lifelink off Skrelv's Hive for sure. Alright, opponent plays a Phoenix. Interesting. Alright, let's go ahead and play this out. First things first, let's play out the Rat Priest. If they have a removal spell, they'll use it before it resolves. If they don't. Alright, let's move to combat. We'll swing out. If they trade with the Phoenix, they trade with the Phoenix. I don't think they will. Okay. Okay, this looks pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and keep this starting hand. The Duelist is going to be really good for us. Let us push out a bunch of poison counters. We also have 2 Annex Sentries, so that's going to do a great job protecting us. Opponent starts with a Visitor, so they're playing an enchantment deck. Fortunately for us, Annex Sentries are going to be great at dealing with our opponent's deck. Let's see what they play next turn. Alright, play the Naturalist. If we're really fortunate. Perfect. Alright. We're gonna get rid of the Naturalist, and then swing in. If they want to trade, they can trade. They don't. Looking good. Opponent's gonna play another enchantment next turn. We'll be able to deal with it with the Sentry. Ossification. Ossification hits the Sentry. They'll get their Naturalist back. Alright, well. What we did once, we can always do again. Farewell to the Naturalist. Opponent has 4 poison counters. We do have lifelink if we play out Skrelv's Hive next turn. Now, Calyx with Ossification might be problematic for us. So we're just going to have to get rid of Calyx. No blocks. Alright. No Calyx for you. Gun is up at 7. Alright. Kami of Transcendence. Here's a Naturalist. And he swings for 4. Interesting choice here. Play the Thicket. Now, what's the best way to go about this? I think we're gonna give Trample to our Duelist here. And then let's move to combat. We'll swing out. Think that's the worst case of blocks for our opponent. Let's give a +1 here. And we've got it. Alright. Into the next game. No green mana. We'll keep anyway. We're gonna rely on the power of Skrelv's Hive and the early Crawling Chorus. Let's see what our opponent's playing. Alright, blue-white. We've got a couple of different options here. Let's go to combat. Here's our first poison counter. We'll play the Skrelv's Hive. We get the Skrelv's Hive, putting us in a pretty good spot. Next turn, we've got Skrelv's Hive and Rot Priest. Even if they can remove our Crawling Chorus, we're gonna get a Might. Alright. There's no reason to swing in this turn, since he'll just be able to block. We'll wait till we have at least 2 creatures. Tyvar's Stand is also going to help us a whole bunch next turn. See, our opponent's probably going to target this guy with an enchantment. Or would be my guess at least. They're thinking about it, though. Not sure how much damage they're going to be able to get out this turn. Maybe they're thinking about dealing with the Rot Priest? They can do that again. Swing in for 6. Okay. No reason to block. Perfect. We're down at 15. We're going to be at 13 after Skrelv's Hive. Oh, that's fine. Alright, play a land. Move to combat, we'll swing out. Now, if our opponent does choose to block... Okay. Sure. Let's go with the +1 here. Our opponent now has 3 poison counters. We've unlocked our lifelink. We do have to be careful. We have potential to take another 8 or more because of the Virtuoso. Virtuoso can get out of hand very quickly. You can see the +1/+1 counter connives for another +1/+1 counter, has 3 mana left. But they're thinking. But imagine if they had an easy way to deal 11 damage this turn, they would have already used it. Yep, that makes sense to me. Now, if they have a bunch of those in their hand, we will have a problem. Sort of combat research. Yep, opponent's got 3 mana. Alright, and they're just gonna go for it like that, I guess. They already missed out on potential value if they had other ways of buffing the Virtuoso. Okay. Play out a Mirex. We're gonna move to combat. We actually have to keep our Rot Priest and our Porous back. If they have a way to give protection from either green or white, leaving just one back is going to be a serious problem for us. But we are going to get in for an additional damage, gain a life. One more poison counter for our opponent. Can make additional tokens with Mirex. We also have Beseju that we're keeping in hand. Interesting. Very funny. Opponent phases out our token so we don't gain the life, but gains the poison counter anyway off of Rot Priest. Trample would also be an issue. If they have an enchantment that can do that, we can deal with that. If our opponent just swings in. Okay, connives. Okay. We're gonna wait until combat to destroy this, so they don't cast another one if they have a second. 2 security bypasses would end the game. Alright, he does pass the combat, so now's the time. Alright, opponent gets an island. Blocking with the Crawling Chorus. We do have 6 damage on the board. But they play the Twin Blade Geist. And unfortunately for us, Skrelv is not a blocker. So we do have to leave back our Rot Priest. Only gonna gain 4 life here. In a little bit of a precarious spot. As long as we survive this turn right here, we're gonna be able to win the game, though. Only thing we can really do here is use Murex to make another Might. Okay. We're okay with Vigilance. And honestly, I'm glad that he's not splitting up the counters. If Twin Blade Geist doesn't get buffed, we're going to be in a great spot. Okay. Yep. So we have to block the Virtuoso. He'll flash it back on the Twin Blade Geist. We'll be taking 4. 2 off the Skrelv's Hive. That's going to put us at 1, blocking Virtuoso. The only 2 cards in hand. I think we're in a pretty good spot. Okay. Yeah, sure. Alright, wow. Next game, this is looking pretty good to me. Let's go ahead and keep. We're going to start with a turn 1 Rot Priest. And then we've got a whole bunch of duelists. Should be very strong. Opponent starts with Dark Slick Shores. Cast a Cut Down. There's their first poison counter. Alright. Duelist number 1. Next turn, we've got a big choice. We can Duelist hold up Tyvar's Stand or Duelist Rot Priest. Let's move to combat first. Alright, there we go. 3 poison counters for our opponent. And now we get out another Rot Priest. We're in a pretty good spot here. Well, couldn't have asked for a better top deck. Opponent trades, gets another poison counter. Let's play out our last duelist. Okay. Move to combat. Let's see if they trade with the duelist again. They might trade with the Slaughter Stinger. That's fine by me. That's 3 poison counters. Opponent's at 7. With the Crawling Chorus, we now have a lot of pressure on our opponent to block. They'll have to block the duelist. Get 2 poison counters next turn. Opponent's at a point where they can't really cast their removal spells either. Yeah, alright, we got it. Alright, looks good. Let's go ahead and keep. Turn 1, we're going to start with Skrelv. We've got the Skrelv Duelist combo. This is going to be really powerful for us. Opponent's thinking about their opening hand. So here we can start with Skrelv. We've got a replacement Skrelv if he's removed. We have Rot Priest in our hand. Rot Priest is going to be a turn 3 play. Maybe we'll draw into something really good next turn, but let's see. Alright. Let's go ahead and play the Jawbone Duelist. No attacks. Skrelv would give us 1 poison counter this turn, but if we hold him up to protect the duelist, we can get 2 next turn. Potentially 4 with Skrelv if he doesn't have the removal spell. Looking good to me. Let's go ahead and play out another green source. We're going to play the Rot Priest first. This is going to further protect against removal spells. Maybe coax it out of our opponent. He's thinking. He might want to kill the Rot Priest as well. Alright, we're gonna move to combat. Just gonna attack with the Duelist. I'm sure our opponent has removal, so that's why we're gonna keep Skrelv up. Then we can play Skrelv's Hive. End the turn. Okay, flashes in a Fairy Mastermind. This is honestly pretty good for us. The Mastermind definitely can't block the Duelist. Graveyard Trespasser. And our opponent tapped out for that. That was a little bit of a mistake, because we can go ahead and pay 1 white, give Pro Black, move to combat. With Toxic 2, that's going to be 4 more poison counters. We will have it next turn. If they tap down one of their creatures, that is. Alright. Trading our Duelist for another poison counter. Feels good to me. Okay. Swings in with the Fairy Mastermind. Our opponent feels pretty intent on letting us use Skrelv. Yeah, there we go. That's a much better choice. Yep, gets rid of the Duelist. No blocks. Alright, let's play out our land. Now, let's go ahead and give our Rot Priest protection from blue. If our opponent has a removal spell, the poison counter still goes through. Sure, they trade the Fairy Mastermind for a 1/1 Might. That's about as good a deal as it gets. Let's play the Crawling Chorus. Our opponents now cannot target our creatures with spells. because of our Rot Priest. And we've got it, alright. Alright everybody, as we saw, this is a very powerful aggro deck. One of the big bonuses of playing a toxic deck is there are lots of ways for your opponent to lose, even if you don't have lethal damage. Sometimes a 1/1 might with 1 poison counter is all it's going to take. Aside from that, if you have any other decks that you'd like to see me play in Standard, why don't you go ahead and leave a comment down below, let me know. And if you enjoyed my video, make sure you like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.